Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today we're going to be doing something outside. So what I've done is I went to Dollar Tree and you can purchase this 56-foot section of rope for $1.25. What I'm going to use it for is marking out shooting ranges. So I typically carry a rangefinder. The last time I went out I did not have it with me, so this is cheap insurance. What we're going to do is we're going to measure out, I'm going to go by 10-yard increments, and I'm just going to cut a section of this rope to be 10 yards long. Then I'm going to put a stick on both ends of it, so just using this as a indication of the idea. I would put this first post into the ground next to the target, and the second post would put me at 10 yards away. If I wanted to shoot at 20 yards, I could pick this guy up, I could move it past the first one, and now I have 20 yards, and I can continue on and get a better idea of where the distance is if I am out and about shooting. So we also have a little added benefit with extension cords, but we will get there when we do. So you can see I have this set up for 15 feet, which is going to be 5 yards. The idea here is by using a small stick instead of like a post from a deck or something like that, I can start at one end, I can wrap the rope around it and return back, and that'll give me double the distance. So if this is 5 yards, by the time I start down here, loop around and come back, it's going to be a 10-yard long section of rope. So let's go ahead and lay the rope out and get that part sectioned off. So at the end of each rope, my thought process is I'll just shove it into the ground, just like we have with the orange spikes here. And I need a stick for both ends of the 10-yard section. So I have a couple of stirring sticks for paint laying around. We're going to go ahead and cut this guy down with our Victorinox Swiss Army knife. And we will use these as the end sections. So we'll go ahead and get started on that, and then we'll lay out the rope. Really not bad for eyeballing it. I cut it at an angle so that it gives me a little bit of a aid in shoving it into the ground. So we have our two sections. We can go ahead and start laying out the rope. I am terrible at tying knots, but I think I came up with one. Kind of a noose knot. It will allow me to remove the pegs in case I need to hang it from a tree or use it as just regular rope. So now I'll have rope in the range bag as well. So I went ahead and cut 2 notches in the spikes here. Run that through, give it a cinch. And now we have a starting point to start measuring out the length of rope. The benefit to making it a slip knot is if you cut it a little too long, which it looks like I did, you can move the knot a little bit in and cut some of the rope and get that perfectly lined up. Now this is going to have a little bit of slop in it. I got something that wasn't super stretchy, but you can see over the length of the rope I do have a little bit of elasticity to it, but this is going to get me within inches of range finding versus feet, because I am a terrible judge of distance. So let's go ahead and square this away. Perfect. So we have our 10-yard measurement. I'm going to cut off this excess. I can singe with a lighter the end of this so it doesn't continue fraying, but that's going to be a 10-yard indicator for distance. Again, mostly for the shooting range. If I need to, I can remove these knots and use it as 10 yards of rope, securing targets or something like that. I went with something that wasn't really elastic and with the higher visibility color, so I can use it for indicating where I am, like tying it in a tree above me so people know who's shooting and where they're shooting, and signaling, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and wrap this project up. On the end of both sections, I wrote out 10 yards. And now I can wrap the two sections together. The rope will act as a protectant for the wood and bumps and bangs and stuff in the bag. Then it'll be rolled up nice and tight so it's not making a mess. Shouldn't unravel on its own. And should I need it, I have it. Doesn't require batteries, doesn't require the lenses to be cleaned or remembering to have it or remembering where you left it, anything like that. So it's a very old school way, I guess, but it is a solution to a very minor first world problem that I was having. So here we have a pocketable 10-yard indicator. I went with 10 yards because you can easily start adding to it. So if you have 10 yards, again, if you have post here, post there, post here, post there, as soon as you finish with that increment, you can move this one over here. And now you have 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, simple math there. To give you the index of 5 yards, when I wrapped this guy, I kept the center in a loop. So the part that was furthest away, the part that we looped in on the orange post here, I kept in a loop. That's where the orange duct tape comes in. So I can now put a flag right here, and that will tell me that this is 5 yards. This is the middle of the 10-yard section. And now I can go by 10 increments and then 5-yard increments. So let's go ahead and put that flag on there. So we now have a 5-yard indicator. And again, that's going to be in the halfway fold there. So I can do 10-yard and 5-yard increments with the same guy. So for, let's see, $1.25 for the rope, $1.25 for the orange duct tape. Sticks that you have at home. If not, you could get that at Dollar Tree as well. So for less than $5, you now have a fairly accurate measuring device for distance, handy enough to fit in your range bag. Again, you can use it for securing ropes or signaling your position or something like that if you go with a high visibility rope as well. And it looks like we still have a couple of feet left over for other tasks. So this is outside the target demographic. As always, I appreciate your time. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments section below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.